Hey guys, we're here with Massi, aka Mpron on Dueling Book, who came second at the 9th Edison Fiesta in Milan? In Milan. And you came second with what deck?
With the best deck in the format, Nitro Vayu. Well, Fox doesn't agree. Of course, it's a joke. It's not the best deck, but it's like if you have followed the previous profiles on this channel, you know I've been believing in this deck for a long while now, and I think that although it doesn't have the same coverage of the format that regular Vayu has, I think this deck is more solid against the meta. So it has a better matchup against definitely the frogs and combo decks and mirror match, and also against Blackwings, although people tend to disagree, but I think it is also the case, although it's not as evident as it is in the mirror match and against frogs. And so I thought this would have been very good meta call for 202 players tournament like this one, especially in a very competitive environment like Milan, where people don't go with random rogue stuff, which is normally hard for this deck to play, to face. They normally play meta because if you guys play online, you know how Italians are, so they want to win. And so so I played Nitro, and I guess we can go to the deck profile.
Yeah, let's jump straight in.
So the main deck is not that different from what I already showed on the channel. I think there's just one card different. So of course the triple Grapher and triple Arma, this is the engine of the deck. And then the birds, triple Vayu. Again, shout out to Francesco Bellantone, who signed this playset for me. He was not a Nitro believer. He has recently changed his mind.
He's converted.
Yeah. Triple Sirocco and Gale. I've seen people in the US cutting this card, especially after Dirk Wagner winning RRC, what was it, San Jose, I guess, without it. But I think it's like you gotta play this card because besides doing what it already does in regular Vayu, so it synergizes with Sirocco, and it outs Stardust and the usual good stuff that it does in regular Vayu, it's also an additional target for accuracy attack. So in my opinion, cutting this card doesn't make any sense, but I respect Dirk's opinion. I just have my own. And then of course the additional pieces, Plague Spreader and Necrogardna, and then the boss monsters, Dark Arm, Gores, and Card Trooper. I tried so hard
the boss monster.
Well, I tried the boss monsters and, and Card Trooper. I tried so hard to cut this card because if you play Nitro, it means you don't like milling, and especially in this deck you have less cards you would like to mill. Although one might argue that milling Upstart or Legacy is not that bad because you have you're still going ahead in a sense, but there's just nothing else that convinced me in the format list as a replacement, so I ended up playing it, and it was decent throughout the tournament, especially in the mirror match, so I would play it again. And for the spells, so this far no changes. For the spells, Rhoda, MST, Heavy Storm, and Burial, of course, and then the draw power, so Allure, double Upstart, and triple Yada. So this is the first difference. I cut one Upstart because I wanted one additional slot to play, one additional free slot in the deck to play that one deck Devi in the main deck, and I didn't want to cut any accuracy attack. So I'm still so this time I'm on triple accuracy attack like last time, and on one deck Devi because I expected a lot of forks. The two previous Edison Fiestas, the 8th and the 7th, were won by forks. So I figured that a lot of people would have played forks or anyway frog variants, and I wanted to have this card in the main deck. And to be honest, there were a lot of frog players there. I think only 2 or 3 forks made it to the top 16. but because some good Italian fork players were not at the tournament, but also some didn't do well. But the card was anyway good whenever I saw it. So I think it was a good choice for a tournament of this size. And it's always deck heavy, so it's always a good card. It's just that maybe having triple Icarus and one deck heavy might be too much, but it worked out just fine. And then I'm still on double bottomless and one deep prison. I saw that people in the US still prefer double deep prison and no bottomless, and so they would play an additional draw trap. But I think these cards are just too good not to play them. Also, black wings are still pretty big in Italy, so you definitely need to play bottomless. And also, I don't have space in the side deck to put all of that there. Then Mirror Force, Torrential, Solemn, the broken one-offs, and then the best card in the deck and the best card in the format, trap card deck and trap card in the format. I didn't see this card much, but when I did, it won on its own. I mean, nothing special about that. Nothing new. About that. Then the extra deck. The new token. This is the new token. This Fiesta's token, and then the other Fiesta I took part in the 6th. I love them. Then Silverwind, just one. Double Armor Master and Triple Arm Doing.
Yeah.
You gotta play this. I think the third one came up twice at the tournament, so it's really mandatory at this point. Dark Hand, Stardust, Dot Ruler, Colossal, Black Rose, Goyo, Pryo, Cataster. Yeah. And then as you're gonna see, I'm not on Elfin nor on Cyber Dragon in the side deck. So playing the second Silverwind didn't make much sense in my opinion, and playing Chimera Tech didn't make any sense because the only way without Cyber Dragon in the extra deck to make Chimera Tech is if your opponent leaves their Cyber Dragon on the field and you Card Trooper or Catastrophe, but that doesn't seem something one would like to do. And so since I have Raikou in the side deck, as you're gonna see, I prefer to play one armor arm, which came up in testing maybe twice or three times on 200 or 300 games, but those 2 or 3 times would have been an option and I didn't have it in my extra deck because I had the second Silverwind, and so I figured I would go to the tournament. It didn't come up, but 100% wouldn't have came up Chimera Tech nor the second Silverwind because I think I only made one Silverwind in the whole tournament. Yeah. So, which is weird because Nitro normally makes Silverwind very often, but not in this specific case. And regarding the side deck, this is a little different than what people play normally. Not so much, but a little. But it's not very different from the side deck that I was on 5 months ago, I think, when we did the other deck profile. So first of all, 2D Crows. Now in my other profile, I think I said something like I don't like this card because it's not impactful enough in this format. But one, like I said, I expected a lot of forks, and in Italy specifically, people love the pure combo version of forks. So this card is, probably the best against non-conversion side forks, but it's also good when you conversion side. Mm-hmm. But also I saw, a resurrection of the tier 1.5 decks, like Zombies, Twilight, and those are not super easy matchups, although Twilight is better than it would be for regular Vayu. But I figured this card is good, and it's also an Icarus attack target. You bring it in against Vayu as well. So, but the main reason is forks, of course. But it has other applications. Then Double Dino, like I said, I expected a lot of frogs, a lot of combo decks, and it's also generically good into a lot of matchups. So, like I said the last time, I wouldn't enter a tournament without Double Dyna in any bird deck. Yeah. And then I'm still on the Double Raikou and Minecon. People in the US, after Dirk won that tournament, preferred the Charge and the Double Lilo. But I found that to be only good if you have to specifically out Decree and Consecrated, because you know some Lila kill Consecrated and switch defense and destroy Decree. But there are other decks that side Consecrated Light, against which Lila is not good, GBs for instance, and you wouldn't, even if that outs Consecrated, and even if you get to pop a back row, so you are very lucky because they could just bottomless or deep prison that. But after that, you are leaving a defense position Lila that any GB can run through and get value from. I don't know, Hero Bit, even if it's a rogue, and I said for this kind of tournaments, I didn't want to care much about those, but I took them a little bit into account. And if you summon Lila against Hero Bit, that can run into Bottomless, Deep Prison, Hero Blast, Gemini Spark. I found Raikou just to be more versatile, and it's also and it's still an out to Consecrated Light and all the float gates. So for those matchups, this is also good against GBs. But not to my deck, since I see people around here, making faces about the positive things about Raikou, but man, two Nitros in top four, two Nitros in top 4, a third one in top 16. I mean, results precedes the deck. Anyway. Then double oppression and the second deck David don't need any explanation. Yeah. And then I'm on double Dust Tornado and 7 tools.
Not 3 dust. Yeah.
Not 3 dust and not only 2 7 tools. So I think this card is very good. I realized it a bit late because in the US people have been playing the 7 tools, even main deck in one, like in Blackwings, for a while now. But I've always thought it was a very situational card. It turned out it's instead really good. But I didn't feel like playing 2 7 tools, and that's all because first of all, Blackwings exist and they're always very good deck, and you need outs to whirlwind, and also 7 tools does nothing against already established floodgates. So I figured I didn't want to lose to, Imperial Iron Wall or Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors if they were already face up on the field. And so, but at the same time, I thought double dust and 1 7 tools could have worked nice. And this card was God. The whole tournament against Nitro, against Blackwings, against GBs, this card, soloed them. Needed, yeah, this card soloed them. In fact, I'm thinking if instead of 2 and 1 playing 2 and 2 could be an option, like double dust and double 7 tools, but it's just that I'm not sure what I'm gonna cut. Maybe for a smaller tournament, 1 crow could go and make room for the second one, but I'm still unsure. It depends on what meta game I'm expecting. Then I'm still on the second Deep Prison, and the last card is so the only card that I basically play in a one-off in the whole deck is the Pulling Rug. Like in the previous profile, I said that I don't like pulling the rug too much, even though I'm the only one to think that, because I think it encourages a bad habit, which is setting out bottomless, which could come back to bite you against Hero of Frogs if they're Vanity's Fiend, Malicious Edge, or Absolute Zero. So I've lost a lot to Hero of Frogs in the past with regular Vayu because they would side Vanity's Fiend, and I had 2 pulling rugs in the deck and no bottomless, and they have no way to fight that. But in this card's defense, I have to say that it won my top 16 match because I top decked it and I set it behind a Dark Armed, and my opponent tried to Caius me, and this card won the game. So it's not bad, but at least you see it a little more with Upsurds, Yadas, and so on.
Okay, so any closing statements? Anything you want to say about why you prefer Nitro to?
Well, like I said, it's first of all, it suits more my play style, and also I think it's better against the meta. So I find it to be better for these big tournaments. Regular Vayu is clearly good, but I got a bit tired of it after 1.5 years playing it, and playing with the flips was not a lot of fun to me.
Yeah.
Well, this deck seems to be
all gas.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I guess we could talk about the matchups if you want. So it was in Swiss I played round 1 against Blackwings, and I won 2-0. Round 2 I played against Dragon Turbo, and as folks know, this is a matchup that is mostly dependent on how much he breaks and how lucky you are or how well you draw. In my case, game 1 he drew God, but thankfully I had Sirocco, deck Devi, and game 2 he bricked, which is what the deck does, by the way. So I won 2-0. Round 3 I played against Machina Plant, which is probably not the best matchup for this deck, but weird enough I won without sweating too much. 2-1 though. Round 4 it was Nitro Vayu mirror match against a very competent opponent. He actually made top 16 and ending up 7-1 in Swiss. He only lost to me. Round 5 was in the future match. I lost against Blackwings 1-2. Like game 3 at Whirlwind Shura, double DD Crow, and my hand was not the best. I couldn't do much. Round 6 was GBs 2-0. Again, 7 tools, soloed him game 2, and game 1 my hand was broken. Heavy Storm Sirocco or FRE Curse Attack. And I even went second. Round 7 was Forks 2-0. Deck Devi put in a lot of work game 1, and game 2 he bricked a bit, and I had a lot of gas. Like my hand was very good too. And round 8 was another Nitro Vayu mirror match, and I lost 0-2. To be honest, my opponent drew better than I did, but he also played very well. Like he tricked me a couple of times, so he totally deserves to win that. And he also made top 4. Like I played him against top 4 Spoiler, so he was a good player. So I finished 6-2, 9th in Swiss, so the second highest in the X and 2s. Yeah, and top 16 I played against Eurofrogs, 2-1. Top 8 feature match again against regular Vayu, and of course the superiority of Nitro. Just kidding. Immersed, and I won 2-1. Top 4 Nitro Vayu. And if you have and I won 2-1. And if you have noticed, I only played Frogs like twice in the whole tournament this far, but it's thanks to this guy, to this Nitro player in top 4. Because if you check his run, he killed all the forks in the tournament. I think he played unironically 6 forks, so not frog decks, just frog OTKs in between Swiss and top 4. So
he eliminated everything.
Thanks to this guy.
he did his job.
He was the forks hunter.
Yeah.
And then in the finals, I got owned really bad by Blackwings. Roma, for those of you for the people that follow the competitive online scene. But I was very tired. Game 1, I think I could have won it, but I misplayed twice. At some point they will upload again the feature match, or you can watch the stream. But there were 2 situations in which I would have gained a lot of advantage, and I misplayed because I was just very tired and I didn't see the lines. And game 2, I think it was unwinnable because my hand was a complete break. I had like Vayu, Necrogardna, Plague Spreader, Gale, Dust, and Gores, and he has Whirlwind, Bora, Gale, Dark Armed, Shura. Then he draws into MST to make that Shura convert, and he also had Skill Drain that he didn't even need to use. So I couldn't win game 2, but game 1 potentially, but just. We had split. I was tired, so it is what it is. I didn't even think I could go that far, so I was already, and I'm I'm very happy. So
okay, cool. Well, congratulations. And if there's anything you want to shout out or closing statements.
So first of all, shout out to God Community Italia that always organizes these sick events. Every time 200 and more players. Actually, this time was a little smaller.
202,
Yeah, normally there's 250, 240 players. But yeah, shout out to them. Then shout out, of course, to our wonderful community here in Dublin. All the folks here that you guys can't see, but they every time they, even if somebody doesn't support much because they think regular Vayu is better, but
everyone is a hater,
right? But they're very wonderful people and hell of a player, and they helped me a lot improve and play test and so on. And shout out to also my other community in Messina, Italy, and specifically to my friend Giuseppe, who was there at the tournament with me, and he would cheer me up, and he also gave me motivation to keep playing, because I was so tired from top 16 onwards. I'm not used to this long immersion playing. And lastly, of course, the usual Francesco Bellantone, and to my friend Teodoro, that also was there with me the whole tournament.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, congratulations, Massi, and what was it? Nitro is better than Vayu, than Turbo.
What do you think, Kevin? Do you agree? It doesn't.
No.
But it doesn't. But well, I guess even results of direct matches speak for themselves.
Yeah, we'll see how the future turns out. Anyway, congratulations, Massi, and well done on your second place.
Thank you.
Peace.